I was able to potty train my two youngest children by age 2. And in this video, I'm going to share with you my exact method of how I did it and how you can too, if this is the sort of thing you're interested in. My 4-year-old is a boy, and my 2-year-old, who I just finished potty training, is a girl. So right from the start, I want to tell you that this can work for either a boy or a girl. Now, he was potty trained like 1 month after 2, and she was potty trained before 2. But I'm just saying by 2 because that is right about where it happened. I have 10 children. I'm a mother of a large family with an 11th on the way, and I have not always felt confident with potty training. So it has taken me a very long time to get to the point to where I am now. I feel like I've finally found the secret, and perhaps I will continue to learn more and get even better at this. So if you find yourself in a place where you don't feel confident and maybe you're struggling and you're thinking, I don't know if I can do this, or I've been trying but it hasn't been working out well, don't worry, you're not alone. We're in this together. And it took me, let me see, so 10 children minus 2, took me eight tries of potty training my previous 8 children before I finally got to the most recent 2 and was able to figure out something that worked better than what I was doing before. Welcome to my Biblical Womanhood channel, Truth at Home, where I aim to connect the truth of God's Word to our daily home life. Now, in this video, I'm talking about potty training, so I'm not quite sure how this connects with God's Word, but maybe Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he should go. And I think that has to do with a lot of stuff, not just teaching them from the Bible, but also training them for life. So I think that's the way that could fit in here. The first thing I'm going to do is just going to give you an overview of what I did with my most recent 2 that worked so well. I did do something different with my youngest one, who was potty trained slightly before 2, that I did not do with my 4-year-old, who was potty trained slightly after 2. And I will tell you that in a little bit, but first I want to give you the things that I did the same for both of them that worked really well. So I'm just going to give you the story of how I did it, and as you follow along, there will be generous tips sprinkled throughout. The first thing I did was just decide, I'm going to potty train you. I just made that decision and made the commitment, this is going to happen. I made sure that I set aside time where we would not be having to go a lot of places so that I could commit, several weeks. And that is key. You have to be a long-term planner. I committed several weeks, about a month, to thinking, okay, this is how long this is possibly going to take, or we're still going to be having a lot of accidents, and I don't really want to be going places or having people over. Now, potty training will take you about, let's say, 1 to 2 weeks until the time your child is like getting it. But after that, they're going to still have accidents. I would say the whole entire first month is more potty training than anything. And then after about a month, they've really got it to the point to where they're having very few accidents, in my experience. Okay, so I just decided, this is what I'm going to do. I am going to potty train. We're going to set aside a few weeks to focus on this. I actually waited until the weather was warm. You do not have to do this. I mean, if it's cold outside and your house is warm inside, you have the heater going, it should be fine. But I like the warm weather because then they can go play outside and I'm not worried about it. Because when my children are potty training, I don't fully dress them. I let them go around in underwear and a t-shirt, or underwear and a dress if it's a girl. Because it's so much easier to wash just a few things than it is to wash a whole bunch of things. And I feel like you want it to be easy to take them to the potty. You want it to be easy for them to feel what's going on, and without a lot of layers, that's easier. I go to the store, or I order it, I get them some underwear. And I don't do pull-ups. I've tried those and they just seem to me like they're just like diapers. It's just you pull them up instead of, putting the little side things on. And children, they're experiencing the pull-ups as if they were the same thing as diapers. So they're gonna have the same amount of accidents, and there's really nothing that has changed for them. I get them underwear, and I just say, hey, we're potty training now. You are gonna learn how to use the potty. Look at this neat underwear that I got for you. And I do not let them use diapers at all. Like, there is no transition period. There is just, you were wearing diapers, and now you're wearing underwear. There is no transition period in the sense that I don't have anything between diapers and underwear, but there is a transition period in the sense that they're going to have to mentally and physically go from, okay, I used to wear diapers and now I wear underwear. And that can be kind of up and down, but it's okay because I'm mentally and emotionally prepared for this. I know it's going to be up and down, and it's okay. Okay, so I get them their new underwear. I show them their underwear. I say, oh, look at the underwear I got you. And I buy a whole bunch. I don't buy one pack. I buy 2 or more packs because you go through so much underwear in a day when they're first starting out. So for example, with my littlest one, I buy her the little size 2T to 3T underwear. Actually, I have a whole bunch more than this. And I just say, okay, let's change you and let's put these on now. I come prepared though with potty chair. So let me show you what I have been using. This is actually a few years old. I don't know if I bought this when my 4-year-old was training or if I actually bought this before then. I don't remember, but I've had it for several years. And I like how this part right here for the boy, this actually was very helpful. And this thing actually comes off for cleaning, which is very helpful. Okay, here. And then you got the handles, but another thing I really like is this little hole on the top. And I put this on it to make it easier to put it on the hook. And I basically got just some of those little hooks that you stick up on the wall, right? And I put those right by the potty, and so that I could have this right there where I need it. So this potty chair, it stays put pretty well. And the kids like the handles, and it's very comfortable, I noticed. And I have been using this, like I said, for years. I got 2 of them, 1 for each bathroom, so you never have to worry. When we go places, what I've been doing right now is I get a little bag. Well, it's not little, but and I put it in the bag, and nobody knows that there is a potty in there. Now, for going places, I do have a couple more things that I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to show you in a minute. But for now, I'm just going to start with that because I want to talk about what I do at home. Okay, so I have the potty chairs, 1 per bathroom. I also have a couple buckets. Doesn't matter if they're ugly like this one, who cares? I need 2 of them though, because 1 is going to be for the pee underwear and 1 is going to be for the poop underwear. And I'm going to take a minute to describe what I do with this. So at the beginning, I fill each bucket about halfway up with water and Blue Dawn soap, which I find to be the strongest, and it gets out the stuff the best. If you don't want to use Blue Dawn soap, you don't have to, but that's just what I use. So I fill them each halfway up, and I put the buckets in the bathtub to make it easy to put the clothes in there when I need to. So if the child goes pee in their underwear, I just put that in the pee bucket. If the child goes poop in their underwear, which is hard for me to deal with, in the past, I have been known to throw away some of that underwear because it was just so disgusting to me. But you can't do that every time. So what you need to do is you take the underwear to the toilet, and first you use some toilet paper and you just kind of get the poop in the toilet, right? And then what I do is I get a wipe and I wipe the underwear to get as much of the poop off as I can, and the wipe goes in the trash. And then the underwear is more clean. I mean, not totally clean, but it's better. And then I put it in the bucket to sit in the soapy water. And then later on that day or the next day, I kind of swish the clothes around and I try to get them a little cleaner in the buckets, and I wring them out and then I rinse them out. I pour the dirty water into the toilet, I fill the buckets up with fresh, clean water and more soap to get ready for the next time. So that to me is a must, because you're gonna have a lot of dirty underwear to deal with. Consistent routine. This is important. So I make sure that I get my schedule to a place where I have lots of time to be with my kids who are potty training, because I try to take them at routine times throughout the day and not get distracted from that. And even on top of that, other times when I think they look like they need to go. My routine times are usually right away as soon as they wake up, after breakfast, mid-morning, before lunch, after lunch and before nap time, right after nap time, a couple times in the afternoon at least, before dinner, and then again after dinner, before bed. I do not put a diaper on them at nap time or at nighttime. You can do that if you want, just at nap time and at nighttime, and when you feel like they're getting the hang of things, then you can take the diaper off. But I have been just doing only underwear, and I put a towel underneath. And I feel like that helps their training to be more consistent. Like, we're not wearing diapers at all anymore, just underwear. But if you want to do the diapers at nap time and at nighttime, that's okay for a while. So I have the towels ready. So you want to double the towel up and put that on the bed when they're taking their nap or at nighttime. I also have some towels ready to put on the couch. They have to sit on their towel on the couch, and it's a little bit hard to make a 2-year-old do that. But I try. You could cover your whole couch if you want with a double layer of towels just to keep it easier. It's only going to be for a few weeks. It's not going to be forever. Probably not even for a few weeks. It's probably just the first 2 weeks you're going to want that. You can use pee pads that we use for dogs. I've done that before too. And that works okay. But either that or towels is fine. So I have the consistent routine. I try to have it. I'm taking them like even in between those times, like every 30 minutes. And I have the towels. And you've got to be ready for spills, or accidents, I should say. You have to be ready for that. You have to know it's going to happen, and it's going to happen a lot. You have to have your all-purpose cleaner. You have to have your pack of paper towels. You have to be ready to just go wipe it up and, move on. And don't get frustrated with it. Just have it in your head. It's going to happen. It's going to happen a lot, and it's okay. The other thing, too, is when kids are learning to potty train, you put them on the toilet, and they don't want to stay. Like, you want to make it fun, like, oh, it's time to go potty, and you put them on, they're like, no. Okay, so I give them books to look at. I don't give them toys, but I give them a book to look at. And, I sometimes have had like a stack of books in a little basket by the toilet so that we can look at different books, not just one book. And I find that helps a lot. However, sometimes they're just not going to want to be on the potty. They're going to insist, I don't want to go. I don't need to go. And I'm like, I think you do. I really do think you do. You've only been there for like 2 seconds and you need to stay here longer. I never just leave them. I'm always nearby. So they'll be on the potty and I'll be like sitting on my bed. But so I'm nearby. I'm not ignoring them. They know I'm there. I even every now and then I say, how you doing? But I ignore their crying. And I just tell them, you're going to be there for a few minutes, and when I'm ready to go get you down, I'll go get you. I don't know why they're so resistant to sitting on the potty at first. You can try to make it fun. You can sing a song. You can give them a book. But even then, I think that they're going to have those times where they just don't want to do it. And some moms might be like, well, don't make them do it. My feeling is, if I think they need to be on the potty, I want them to learn to obey me and do what I say. And it'll just be, a few minutes and then I'll get you down, So be prepared for that, and just don't give in to that every time, that every time they cry, they get down. Because here's the thing. My experience has been, if they cry and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll get you down. 5 minutes later, they go pee on the floor. And it turns out I was right. They really did need to go. They just didn't think they did. And that's why I make them stay a little longer, even if they cry. The other thing I do is I don't really give them rewards. With my first few children, I was like into the sticker charts and the rewards, and I kind of got tired of it because it's hard to keep up. It's hard to keep on doing that sustainably over time. And also, once they are potty trained, then the stickers go away, then the toys go away. And it's like, oh, well, it was really great at the beginning, but now it's kind of back to boring. And I feel like it's kind of a letdown. And also, it's hard for us as moms to just keep up with, the stickers and the games and the charts, especially when you have a lot of children like I do. So after a while, I just stopped doing that, and I decided, it's okay if I don't do that stuff. I'm just gonna say, hey, good job. Very good job. I like how you went pee-pee in the potty or poo-poo in the potty, or you kept your underwear clean. That's great. I don't use an exaggerated tone of voice. I use a regular tone of voice that's happy, and I feel like that's sustainable, and that makes them happy. That's all they need. Good job. I'm proud of you. Very good. That's really all they need. I don't really think they need the sticker chart. If you want to do that, that's fine. It's just not a thing I felt was sustainable and doable for me. After about 1 to 2 weeks of this, the child will be basically potty trained. It just takes patience and it takes consistency. But I have found that once you start, don't stop. That's the key. Just keep going. It might happen sooner, it might take longer, but just have that commitment that once we started doing this, we're not going to stop. With one of my children, I did that. I started him. He wasn't catching on as quickly as I felt he should. 2 weeks later, and he was still having all these accidents. So I went back to diapers. And it wasn't until like 6 months later that I'm like, okay, let's do this again. And I feel like this child has had more problems with not having accidents than some of the others. And I think it was because of like that body confusion. Like, are we gonna do this way, or are we gonna do it that way? I feel like it's best to just make it real clear for your body. Okay, we were doing that, we're not doing that anymore. Now we're doing this, and this is how it's gonna be. So they don't get confused. I feel like that one that I stopped for a while and then went back to potty training later, I feel like if I had just been more committed and just kept going, he would have eventually got it. It would have taken him longer than the others, but he would have got it and it would have been okay. So by the time I got to these 2 younger ones, I was like, no matter how long it takes, I'm just gonna be committed. This is the way it's gonna be from now on. I have decided you're gonna go to underwear and you're gonna go to underwear, and that's what we're gonna do. And it might sound harsh, but it actually worked, and I was nice about it too. Okay, so when we go places, when we finally start to go places, is when I feel like, okay, this child is rarely having any accidents. They're telling me oftentimes when they need to go, or when I tell them they need to go. They're not putting up a fight about it. By the time we get to that point, it's been like a month, and I feel like, okay, we can finally go places. So like I showed you, I could either put the potty chair in the bag, or there's another little foldable potty that you put on the seat when you go places. I really liked it. It was very convenient. And one day when we were going to someplace, it got left in the public bathroom, and I asked my kids, you guys, what'd you do with it? And I'm like, oops, I think we left it there. So that one's lost, but I will link to it so you can see the one I got. And I also have another potty that I want to show you, that we use this one when we went camping. We have used this when we just go to the lake or to the park. Okay, so it's a cute little bear, and there are other kind of, styles available. I just thought the bear was cute and has a handle. It's pretty thin, not as thin as the one that I told you that you just put on the potty seat, but still though, slim enough, and it can fit in the bag. And this came with 2 rolls, I think, of the stuff to put in it. And basically what you do is you undo these little things up here, and you just lift it up, and you kind of tighten it that way. And then you, usually it's easier for me to do. And then you lift up the lid and you pull this thing up. It has a little little seat, and you have to put the, why can't I think of this word? You have to put the plastic bag in to catch the pee. And then as soon as you're done, you just find your trash can and you put it in the trash can. I mean, if it's pee, you could pour it out of the bag and then throw the bag away, just whatever you want. And then when you're done, you know, you fold it back up. Fold it back up. It can be a little bit tricky near the end there when you're trying to fold it back up. I just keep trying. I just keep wiggling it and trying, and eventually I get it to where it's folded back again. And I put it back in the bag, and there you go. This has been really helpful because when we've gone camping or to the lake or to other recreation sites, sometimes they don't have flush toilets. Sometimes they have the vault toilets. And I don't feel comfortable putting little kids on the vault toilets. I don't even like them myself. With this potty, I can set it out someplace private outside or even in the bathroom, but you know, on the floor, and be like, hey, here's your potty. You don't have to use this thing. You have your own potty. You use this. And they feel so much more comfortable with that solution. This has been really helpful to us. I've used it plenty of times. So I really recommend that for going places, you have one of those. In addition to perhaps if you want to use the more slim foldable chair that goes on top of the toilet seat. I have the potty chairs for home. I have the potty chair for when we go to recreational sites, and even one that's slimmer that you can put in the diaper bag for putting on the toilet seat, which I need to get another one since it got lost. And now I'm gonna get to the part to where I tell you what I did different with my 2-year-old, who is a girl, that I did not do with the 4-year-old. And I think this really helped. So you're gonna wanna pay close attention. Okay, the thing I did different with her is at about 1.5 years old. Every single morning when she woke up, I took her to the potty. I didn't do it any other time of day. Just every single morning when she woke up, it was just our routine. Hey, I just woke up, I'm gonna go potty. And you're gonna go too. So when I'm done, I'm gonna put you on, or maybe before I go, I'm gonna put you on there and I'm just gonna read a book to you, or I'm gonna hand you a book while I'm, you know, brushing my teeth or whatever. And we got into this routine. And at first she didn't do anything. But after a while I noticed, oh, she's starting to go pee. And you know, she's like 1.5 years. Oh, she just went poop. Oh, wow. Like it was working. I wanted to try to add other times during the day. Like, okay, we do it when she wakes up in the morning. Let's add when she wakes up from her nap. I did a few times, but I wasn't consistent with it. But I think that even just doing it that one time per day turned out to be very helpful. Because by the time we actually started officially potty training, she already had that experience. She already knew what the potty was for and what you do when you get on the potty. It was like the gentlest, easiest way to ease into potty training. Now, with this next one, I'm thinking I might do the same thing, start at about 1.5. You know, you could probably start earlier if you wanted. I just chose 1.5 because by that age, they can walk around. If they really got good at it and they turned out to be potty trained before 2, they're capable of walking themselves to the potty, you know, so I thought that it made sense that age. I think for this next one, I'll probably do the same thing at about 1.5 or so, start taking the child to the potty as soon as the child wakes up, but then gradually add, okay, we also go potty after you wake up from your nap, and then gradually add other times in, like, okay, we always go potty after breakfast. So that gradually you're working up to being totally ready for potty training so that when you do make the switch from diapers to underwear, the child is more than ready. So I think that that is going to be the method I'm going to use with the next one. And it may turn out that that next one ends up being potty trained before 2. I don't know. But potty trained by 2 to me is a great achievement because all of my other children before this were potty trained by about age 3. And I thought that was just like the thing to do. That was the typical age. That's what all parents do. I thought, oh, maybe they're not physically ready to go on the potty until 3. And it turns out I was wrong. Children can be trained to go on the potty much, much earlier than we think. I have read about a certain form of potty training where parents actually train their babies to use the potty. I don't know that that's for me because it takes a lot of being with your child, at least at first, of constantly like feeling them to see if they went pee, or they're going pee, and just, I feel like it would stress me out too much. That's how I feel right now. Maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe I'll try that method and maybe it'll work, because just like with this other method of training by two, you know, the first part's always the hardest, but then once you get the hang of it, you know, things get easier. So I don't know, but that's, you know, that's something that some people do and it works for them. And I think that's great. But like I said, even then, potty trained by two, I feel like is a great achievement. I think that starting earlier is better. If you start earlier, your kids haven't had as much time to get into the bad habit of using their diaper as the potty, right? The longer you wait, the harder it is to break that habit. And I think that's what happened with me when I was training my kids to go potty at age 3. I think that they had really gotten into this habit, and I think he's saying he needs to go potty. So I'll get up and go let him in. So if you wait too long, the child's body has gotten into a strong habit of using the diaper as a potty. And it's going to be harder for them to break that habit. But the earlier you start, the easier it is to break that habit and start a new one. So there's actually a benefit to starting earlier rather than waiting. And we as moms, sometimes we feel not confident with potty training and we put it off. Other times, like I was, we think, oh, maybe they're not ready, but they are ready. Children are adaptable and they can learn a new habit very quickly. So don't wait too long, I would say, before you start potty training. Earlier is actually better. You don't have to be super early, like I said, but you don't need to wait until 3 either, if that's not what you want to do. The other thing I wanted to mention to you is, okay, like I said before, I get the cloth diapers, or I get the cloth underwear, and we just go straight from diapers to underwear. And what I do is I put the towels on the couches or on the bed, but there is another option for you if you want to have something a little thicker to use as underwear that is not training pants and is not a diaper. There are these underwears here that are cloth made out of lined with cotton, and they have this completely cotton layer inside, not as thick as a cloth diaper would be. At least I don't think so. I've never used cloth diapers, but I've seen some babies with them. And they're pull up, you know, you pull them up and down. They don't have any snaps. And this is padded, so it is absorbent, but it is cloth. So it's not going to be as absorbent as a diaper or one of those pull-ups from the store. So it will remain wet against the skin while absorbing enough of the liquid to where you're not making a huge mess. Now, I think going just straight to the cloth underwear, the regular cloth underwear, is great because they feel even more. And when they pee, I mean, this sounds mean, but it just runs down their leg and they have this sensory experience of feeling, wow, this is the difference between having a diaper and having underwear. And it causes them to be more aware of what is happening with their bodies. But if you feel like you want to have a little bit more padding there, I recommend these cloth training pants. And the ones that I got for my daughter have different patterns. They're really, really cute. They have them for boys too, and you can get them in packs of, you know, just like a few, or you can get them in a huge pack of like 10, and really cute. And you can use those at the beginning when you feel like, you know, the most messes are going to be made, 1 to 2 weeks, and then switch to these. And maybe use the other ones just when you go places, just to have that added security. All right, so that's it. It's actually pretty basic. It took me a while to explain it, but there's nothing complicated or difficult about it. It's just something we have to have patience for and be committed to and be consistent. And that's the main thing. I believe that any of you moms can do this, whether this is your first child, or maybe you've already had several, or maybe you have a large family like me and you just haven't ever felt super confident with potty training. Like, you can do this. And I hope that these tips have helped you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.